Okay, let's unpack this. Today we are attempting a deep dive into, well, a really extraordinary piece of source material. It's an introspective poem from 1975 written by Russ McClay, and it's titled Inner Companion Canto.
It really is a remarkable text. And our mission today really is to distill the author's incredibly personal view.
Hmm.
It's almost casual sometimes, but at the same time, it's this sweeping cosmic view of a single spiritual guide.
Yeah.
It's not just describing a relationship, it's almost mapping out a path,
Hmm.
you know, for this really profound long-term spiritual evolution.
Yeah, and what immediately strikes you, the listener, about this source is the sheer tension in the language he uses. McClay uses these really intimate, almost colloquial terms. He actually calls this entity my buddy at one point.
Right, my daddy.
And then he just slams that intimacy right up against the biggest possible theological concepts you can imagine. The universal father, infinities far past eternity. It's quite a mix.
And that tension, I think that's absolutely key to understanding this text. It stops the ultimate source from feeling, distant or academic. It sort of grounds the transcendent. It suggests that accessing these really high levels of consciousness maybe comes through profound friendship, not just elaborate ritual.
Profound friendship. I like that. And that friendship, that guide, well, that's the core of our deep dive today, the inner companion. So let's start with who this companion actually is, because McClay gives us like a whole roster of descriptions that kind of reveal its nature. He calls it the bright one who shines within, and also the companion ever faithful.
Yeah, what's fascinating there is how the relationship title itself seems to evolve within the poem. It starts with that almost mystical imagery, the light shining inside, and then it deepens, doesn't it? Until finally the companion is described as my buddy, ultimate companion, and celestial spiritual guide. That whole progression, it really signifies the speaker's relationship maturing, I think.
So it's not just a guide, it's like a chosen friend. And the source makes it crystal clear this isn't some, external being watching from afar. Where does this cosmic friend actually live?
Well, the author is pretty definitive about the location. He really focuses on the internal, the personal aspect. The companion is always near, always listening close, and literally, explicitly dwells within my mind by choice.
By choice. That's interesting.
Yeah, that by choice bit is crucial, isn't it? It suggests this voluntary, almost localized presence of what is actually a universal force.
It gives you that internal grounding. And the companion is described as the source of all light, right? And the speaker says he's pulling a little of the same to help him on his personal journey, his trek. So it's like a self-replenishing resource that exists right there inside you.
Exactly. And this internal resource is always accessible, it seems, no matter the situation. The speaker recalls the companion's presence just as easily in the city forest desert, which confirms this absolute constant presence while he's, as he puts it, traversing the vastness. It's like a totally constant, dedicated partner in experience.
Okay, so once we kind of get who the companion is and where it is inside, we then have to look at the practical dynamics of this really quite bizarre, intimate partnership. And this is where the poem gets intensely human, I think. It focuses on the companion's incredible patience versus the speaker's own self-created chaos.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This might be the most relatable section of the whole canto for many people. The companion's fundamental role seems to be one of synthesis, maybe repair, especially when faced with our human imperfections. The speaker explicitly notes that the companion harmonizes the discord that I create.
Right, but I want to dig into the response to that discord, because the companion shows utter patience, right? It says, it's forever remaining silent in my outbursts of emotion. Now, hang on. If I'm looking for a spiritual guide, and I'm having some kind of emotional meltdown, wouldn't I want active intervention, or at least a gentle word? Why is silence the ultimate response here? Doesn't that feel a bit passive?
That's a really important question. But the text seems to suggest the silence is anything but passive. It's maybe the highest form of respect for free will. The companion stands ready as that harmonizing element, but it kind of refuses to engage in the fleeting emotional chaos the speaker stirs up. It's like a silent, unwavering standard of truth and stability. It simply waits, perhaps, for the speaker to just exhaust their own discordant energy and, come back to center.
Okay, but that requires unbelievable self-awareness from the speaker, doesn't it? To recognize the companion standard even while they're failing to meet it. And the author is pretty brutal in his self-assessment. He calls himself a fool for not recognizing the companion at each heartbeat.
And that's the paradox, isn't it? The human condition captured perfectly right there. The speaker acknowledges the truth. He says, I know all this, but then admits they still go out of its way to lose contact. It just highlights that frustrating, persistent resistance we often have, to our own higher path.
Yeah, it's like knowing exactly where the map says to go, but stubbornly driving off-road anyway, every single time.
Well,
Yet despite all the missteps and the discord, the trust the speaker places in this companion seems complete, total.
yes. The final submission is total, and it seems born from experiential knowledge, from seeing it happen again and again. He says, "Your love and concern for my welfare is unsurpassed, and accordingly I submit my all to you."
Hmm.
That level of trust, I think it only comes from having repeatedly witnessed the companion staying faithful, even through all the errors.
And it's not just about managing emotional outbursts, is it? It seems the companion provides the actual infrastructure for growth, too.
Precisely. The companion has apparently provided the speaker with the sacred texts and all the ways and means to attain God consciousness. It lays the foundation. And then, when the speaker inevitably blows it, as he says,
Which he admits he does.
right, the companion meets that failure with a tenderly silent understanding. It's this incredible combination of really high standards and, well, unconditional grace.
So this internal, always present guide, it's amazing, but it's not the ultimate stopping point in the poem, is it? The poem then sheafs quite beautifully, I think, elevating the discussion to the companion's cosmic linkage, the thing that made all this possible.
Exactly. We shift now from the sort of psychological relationship to the theological architecture underneath it all. The text establishes that the companion is directly linked to the source of creation and, importantly, is on a one-to-one basis with the universal Father.
Okay, so we have the guide, our buddy, and then we have the ultimate source. How does the author define that source? Because this feels like where language really starts to fracture under the weight of the concept.
Well, the universal Father is described simply, almost starkly, as the source of everything and nothing. That definition tries to encompass absolute totality, doesn't it? The end of full potential, and maybe the vacuum from which it all arises. It's a concept that really does exceed definition.
And what's really powerful, I found, is how the author immediately grounds this impossible concept. He uses a simple analogy, connecting the vastness right back to the intimate relationship. He says, just as plants are nourished and birds have cozy nests, so too does the speaker have the companion. It's like the cosmic care gets delivered personally.
Personally, yes. But then the author hits this profound intellectual roadblock when he tries to describe the quality of the companion itself. He really grapples with the inherent limits of our human language, our reliance on these dualistic constructs.
Right, this is where we need to slow down a bit because it's a huge insight he has here. The speaker realizes that if he calls the companion great or good, just by using those words, he's automatically implying the existence, or at least the possibility, of its opposite.
Exactly. Our whole linguistic system, it's built on comparison and contrast duality. Good versus evil, great versus small. But if the companion is linked one-to-one with the infinite source, then those dualistic concepts just can't apply in the same way. The author states it directly. This dualityness cannot really apply to you.
It's that moment the speaker realizes that the sheer act of talking about the divine somehow diminishes it. He understands that whatever I say, it will always be a little short of your infinity. The language of the poem itself becomes this kind of beautiful failure, in a way, which sets the stage for the final shift, doesn't it?
Yes, since describing the companion adequately is impossible, the focus shifts to merging with it. And this brings us to the future, the shared destiny, this really expansive long-term vision. The goal isn't definition anymore, it's integration.
Right. The ultimate aim becomes for mind, body, and soul to be willfully consecrated to you together as one. It's all about unified purpose, moving beyond that internal discord we talked about earlier.
And this unification, this consecration, leads to experiencing the highest phases of consciousness. This clearly isn't a short-term goal, not some earthly project. It's an expansive upward journey.
And the temporal and spatial scope of this shared journey is just immense, truly immense. The relationship involves ever expanding our potential throughout infinities far past eternity. That's quite a scope. And ascension happens through cosmic emergence to go higher and deeper.
And this whole trajectory leads to one of the most memorable and frankly charming images in the entire canto. It perfectly synthesizes that blend of the cosmic and the personal we talked about. He writes, "Millions of years from now, if I survive, we will hang out on a star praising our source."
Hang out on a star. I love that line. It perfectly captures that my buddy intimacy, but carries it right into this vast cosmic setting. It reassures you, the listener, that the relationship, no matter how high the consciousness gets, stays personal, stays supportive.
It absolutely solidifies the central theme. The journey is incredibly long, out on the trails of experience, but the companion is there. And crucially, it's there not because of some cosmic obligation, but because you want to be. That voluntary presence, that desire, seems to be the ultimate foundation for the whole ascent.
So, as we kind of bring this deep dive toward a close, the core message for you, the listener, really seems to be about the essential challenge of spiritual life. This text is just a profound document charting that battle between our finite human language and the boundless nature of the infinite. But it also offers the comfort of knowing there's an internal, reliable guide willing to endure all our human chaos along the way.
And the author himself recognizes that difficulty right up to the very end. He concludes that, if I talk forever about Gale, there would still be much left unsaid.
And that leads directly to the poem's final, really powerful realization, doesn't it? The author understands that the ultimate attainment, getting to the essence of the companion, it's never going to come through speech or typing or striving for an infinity. The truth is found somewhere else entirely.
Exactly. The ultimate realization is found in just stopping the effort. It's found in the very silence that the companion practiced during the speaker's own emotional discord earlier in the poem.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to maybe take with you on your own trek, whatever that looks like. McClay ends the canto by saying, "Enough, said I, now silently breath with you in quiet, gentle experience." So what does it truly mean to make that transition? To move from the infinite attempt to describe knowledge, to describe the divine using words, to the simple, quiet, and maybe profound act of just experiencing it. Something to ponder, perhaps, as you seek your own ultimate companion?